Hi everyone, this is Dave, and in today's video I want to talk to you about a couple of lenses that I picked up for my Sony a6300. Now when you buy a new camera you often have the option of either buying the body only or the body with a kit lens, and indeed when I got the Sony a6300 I purchased it alongside the 16 to 50mm power zoom lens. And it's a little tiny pancake lens. It's ideal for general sort of walk around photography and videography. When you look at capturing really good resolution video though, the 4K video that the a6300 is capable of, then you probably want to look at upgrading from that kit lens. Now I've purchased two lenses for my a6300. They were both purchased from Park Cameras. A big thank you must go out to them. I get pretty much all of my photography gear from them. Check out a link to their website in the video description. Now the first lens I purchased from them is the Sony 18 to 105 f4 power zoom lens, and this is what I would probably describe as the perfect upgrade lens for this particular camera. It's a nice piece of glass, very well constructed, and it offers up a really useful zoom range, 18mm to 105, which is absolutely fantastic. And one of the nice features it's got on this lens is it does still have a power zoom function. Now of course when you're zooming in and out for composing a photo that's not important, but if you're doing video work you want a nice smooth zoom in action. Now you can achieve that if you very carefully use the zoom ring, but having this power zoom little lever on the side here is really good indeed. In fact I'll show you this in action. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit of recording with this particular lens. So I've turned the camera on, let's hit record, and in this little clip of video you're seeing now, you will see the 16 to 50mm power zoom lens on my desk. Now I'm currently zooming in with the zoom ring, which is very smooth on this lens, but when you get to a certain point you have to readjust your hand and then start zooming in again. And now we're at the 105mm end of the focus range, and it's pretty good. It resolves a lot of detail in the video. Let's zoom all the way back out again. Now this second time I'll actually zoom in using the little slider switch on the side. So we're at the widest angle, and now let's start zooming in. So we can just zoom in nice and smoothly. And now we're zooming in and you can see how smooth that is, and I can keep that constant zoom speed without having to readjust my hand, and it's just super smooth. Very, very good indeed. And again in the center of the frame there you can see the 16 to 50mm little tiny pancake lens which was part of the kit. So this 18 to 105mm lens really does perform well. It's nicely balanced. A little bit of extra information for you is it takes a 72mm filter on the front. Now with digital cameras you don't need UV filters, but I still always put a lens protector on. So this is just a clear piece of glass. A lot of people don't bother. We've got the lens hood here anyway, which comes supplied with the lens. But I always say get a £10, £20 filter. I think the one I've got on here is a Hoya Fusion, and it was about £21, £22 maybe at the most. And it's much cheaper if you sort of drop your camera and it breaks the filter. A lot cheaper to replace that filter than it is to send the lens off to be repaired. Now apart from obviously the zoom ring and the power zoom function, we have got a manual focus ring as well on this lens, and again that is silky smooth. This is just a really well constructed lens with fantastic build quality. Now the other lens I purchased from Park Cameras is this one here, which is a prime lens, and this is made by Sigma. It's part of their global vision range of lenses, and you can get art lenses, contemporary and sport. This one here has got a little C on the side, and that designates it as a contemporary lens. And it's a 30mm, so a fixed sort of focal length, f1.4, so very, very bright lens, going to gather a lot of light. Comes supplied with a lens hood again, which is really great. The filter thread size on this one I think is a 52. Yeah, it's a 52 1mm filter thread. I haven't put one on there yet, but I will do very soon. Let's mount this onto the camera. So we're going to remove this lens, and we shall pop this one on. And we'll show you a bit of video captured with this one as well. So we line up the two little dots, rotate it round, and then the lens is in place. Now obviously this one, when you see the video clip, I can't zoom in and out because this is a fixed focal length. But what I will do, let's just start the video going. And again, we're in autofocus. So let's bring in my Sony lens, and it should refocus on this. So it's a little bit slow to focus, but what you're getting with this is now in focus now, is because of the f1.4 aperture, you're getting a nice defocused background. Look at that blur in the background. Absolutely fantastic. So it allows you to separate the subject that you're recording from the background really very well indeed. So it's just a fantastic little lens. Focuses quite quickly. You can hear it hunting a little bit, and then it gradually picks up focus again. So not the fastest autofocus lens for video work, but certainly for photography as well. That f1.4 aperture is going to be very, very useful indeed for isolating your subject against the backgrounds. It's very well constructed. It's got a nice, smooth focus ring. Very, very smooth indeed. And the build quality on these Sigma lenses, the World Vision lenses, especially the art lenses, that's sort of a step up again. But even these contemporary lenses, the build quality is absolutely fantastic. And if you're looking for a really nice prime lens, this is awesome value for money. I think it's around about £250, £260, which for this piece of glass, it resolves a lot of detail, even edge to edge, and in the corners the focus is really good. Sort of pin sharp, very, very impressive indeed for the price. This is well worth considering. So I picked up these two lenses because they were a definite upgrade from the kit lens. The most useful one out of the two for anyone looking to add a second lens is the 18-105, purely because it's very versatile. You've obviously got that power zoom function, a nice useful zoom range as well. f4, yeah, that's acceptable. Would have been nice if it was an f2.8, but then you can buy a Sony lens with an f2.8 and a similar sort of zoom range. But then you're spending a lot more money. This was a lot more affordable, and pairing it up with the a6300, there's no point in putting a £1,500 G Master lens on, because that's too much for the camera. That doesn't make sense if the lens is at sort of 1.5, almost 2 times the cost of the body. Doesn't make sense at all. This 18-105 lens is more than enough for the a6300. And then the reason I picked up this little prime lens is because I saw a lot of reviews on it, and people were saying it's absolutely fantastic, very good resolution, and it's a very nice piece of glass. I think that this is probably the best sort of prime lens at this focal length, 30mm with f1.4 for such a fantastic price, and it performs extremely well. So if you're buying a camera this year, next year, and you're considering buying it with a kit lens, if that kit lens is only maybe £100 or £150 more in addition to the body only sort of deal, and that lens has got a value of twice that amount, then it's worth getting the kit lens, because it certainly makes it easier to sell the camera when you're upgrading, and it also gives you a very useful and versatile lens to walk around with that isn't that expensive. So if you've got a good kit lens deal, still buy the kit lens. But if you want to upgrade, and I think that's one of the first things you should look at doing if you're really loving the camera but you want that little bit extra reach, then buy something like the 18-105. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, if you want to explore your creativity, this 30mm prime lens, you might not be able to zoom in and out, but you have got your legs, so you can walk nearer to the subject, move back further away from the subject to compose your photo or your video, and really experiment, get into the action with this sort of fixed 30mm lens. It encourages you to actually move around more to get that really good composition. So this is well worth considering as well. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I just wanted to give you a look at these two latest lenses that I purchased for the a6300. Let me know what you think of how they performed in the little video clips I've shown you. Let me know what you're shooting with as well. Which camera do you use for both your videos and your photography? Leave me some comments below, hit like on this video, and I'll see you in another one very soon.